Hi everyone, welcome back to another show of Uncensored, a yachting international radio show. I'm your host Mariam from Yachts, Mermaids, and today on the other side of the screen, I have my roomie. She used to be my roommate, one of my vessels that I worked for a few years ago, and she is a former stewardess, Deckhand, and now a personal trainer who actually she was a personal trainer prior to joining the industry, but now she is currently just putting all her time and effort into helping people change their lifestyles. So welcome, Shelby. Thanks for coming here today.
Thanks for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
So as you guys know, we come up with some random ideas that just comes through us. And for today, for Shelby, the word positivity came alive. And for me, like the vision of a weight being held by somebody and then dropped, but not because it dropped on its own, but more like the person dropped it. And so when I say this, Shelby, what comes up for you when I talk about the word positive and then this kind of image of a weight dropping, but kind of intentionally almost?
So when I think of positivity and being positive, I feel like I came up with that word, or it kind of pops into my head because, positivity, I feel like, is kind of what we all want. We all want to have positiveness in our lives. We all want to be moving forward. We all want to see good things happen to us or to those around us, whether it's in our personal lives or whether it's in our work lives. And so that's kind of what I've thought of today randomly, was just the word positive, positive everything, and making a positive impact on the show for all of our viewers too. Like, we're here trying to, make good in people's lives and create a really good value for everyone watching, so that we can create a positive influence. So that's kind of what I thought. And then backdropping on your weight kind of falling, but intentionally falling. I don't know. I guess it can be positive that you're kind of dropping the weight from, dropping all of the weight. You're kind of like releasing this weight, trying to get everything kind of out of maybe your body, just releasing all of the stress, the pressure, the craziness in your life, and then just, kind of taking away the control. Like maybe you're controlling the weight and you have all of it built up into you. And then now, you want to be positive and you want to create goodness, but like you can't really do that because you're holding in all of your control and all of the stress and all the stuff like kind of inside you. So you're able to drop the weight and release it and hopefully create positive vibes and positive everything so that you can do good things. I don't know. That's just what I think when you talk about the weight dropping.
I love it. So it's funny because like as you're talking, I have this thought of like, you talked about, obviously we all as humans, I think as people, right? We want to create positivity. We want to live in that place. But to be honest, that's just not really what we do constantly. And the word self-sabotage, when you were talking about the image of dropping dropping the weight, I felt like a lot of us, like the image of dropping the weight, like in what do you call it, purposely, was almost like the image of we want all this positivity, and then again we self-sabotage ourselves, in the process, so we don't create it. But then you talked about letting go of control. So I love that this image kind of brought the whole aspect of shadow and light, basically, where the one thing could be literally release, letting go of control, so we can actually create that positivity and live in that place, right? From a place of surrendering, I guess, because we're not controlling anymore. And then it can also show us the other aspects that maybe we're doing, which is self-sabotaging ourselves in order to not really let go of control and create that positivity, right? Whether it's for us or that impact that we want to make in life. So I don't know what comes up for you when I say all this.
I think you've hit it completely on the spot. I feel like, you know, we want all the good things to happen in our life. We want to, I guess, since we're talking about health and that's what I'm passionate about, you know, we want to eat the good things. We want to make the good decisions. Whether we're off the boat, on the boat, in between being on and off the boat, we want to feel better in our own bodies. And we know, or we have at least an idea of what that means, you know, what we would like that to look like, or what we think that means, or what we've learned over the years from friends or educating ourselves or the internet or whatever that may be. But I feel like we don't always have the tools, or we don't always know the right steps. And sometimes we might want it, but we don't really want it. You know, we want it, we think it's great and it's awesome, and then that sounds like a great thing to do, but do I really want to put in the effort? Do I really want to like make that change, make that next step? You know, that's something that we individually have to decide. I can't decide that for you, and you can't decide that for me. So I think it's really important to come to the realization.
It's almost like we want the outcome, but we're not willing to actually journey through it.
Exactly, because it's hard work, right? It doesn't come easy. It's, you have to intentionally, you know, that's a big word, intentionally making the effort to do the things. And effort is work, and nobody wants to work for it. They want everything handed to them. especially nowadays. But you know, in general, like you said, self-sabotage, that's a good word too. You know, we always, you know, we hope and we want, but we end up bringing ourselves down. And you know, we don't always stay positive. We want to be positive, but a lot of times we turn it around and we're super negative. Whether it's we don't believe in ourselves, or we don't believe that we can do this, or we get into all the excuses of, well, I'm on a boat and my schedule is insane and I don't have the hours and the time to do it and to make it happen. If only I had more time off, if only my breaks weren't an hour or two, they were 3 or 4, or, you know, if only I was not working on boats maybe, and I would have all the time in the world because I'm not working 12 to 15 to 18 hour shifts, depending on what boat you're on and how crazy it is. But we have to kind of take a step back, I feel like, and make an intentional decision, maybe not crazy big steps, you know, baby steps. And like going back to letting go of control, that's a big thing. Like, we're actually not in control. You know, we might think we're in control because we have control theoretically of our, you know, we have control of our reactions. We have control of what we do. We have control of how we handle situations, but we can't control everything. So we have to let go of the weight, drop the weight, you know, let go of all of the pressure that we put on ourselves, and just have faith that, you know, I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I see the light in the darkness, and, you know, we can get through that. And you don't have to do it alone. You know, we helped each other in the past, where you and I kind of bounced off when we were in dark places. You know, it's not always going to be light or positive, and people, I feel like, need to understand that, you know, it's a process.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you with, you know, setting the intention. Obviously, like I see a lot on social media lately with this whole pandemic, you know, crisis that's happening. Crew going like extremes. Either I'm gonna work out like until I die, like every day, you know, like I'm on a workout bench, or I'm just gonna binge some food until I pass out. So I've seen both sides happening. And even though I totally, you know, agree that it's awesome to see people taking care of their body and their health and all that, you know, I think it's great. But at the same time, I also feel like people should have the intention to find that balance, right?
Right.
And And I don't know, I think, I love the idea of support that you brought, because this is what I'm seeing a lot in social media through the yachting community, that people are working out together. Crew from other vessels are like, using social media to really pump each other up and kind of like hold each other accountable, because it's so important. And like you said, I mean, I wanted to work out. I wanted to take care of my health, and I knew you had the tools. And I was like, dude, it's right here for me. Like, I just need to ask. And I went and I asked you, and we did it. And I mean, you got me running, which I freaking hated. I think when I left the vessel, like, I still hated it. And then a year later, I ended up doing triathlons. So it's for me, that was like a big stepping stone, of like having that partner to hold me accountable, to show me the ropes, and to really have that space where I can, where I could see that I was capable of doing that and more, if I actually put the time and the effort and the intention, right? So yeah, I just wonder, like, what advice, obviously as an ex yachty and a personal trainer, what advice can you give to people who maybe find themselves on a vessel, and I have heard a lot that they don't have, they're on a vessel with crew members that are just not like-minded, so they find themselves alone, because it's easy when you have a few people that like to work out, and that's the easy way, right? In a sense. But what happens when people, a lot of people are feeling, obviously, the obvious self-isolation, but especially the ones that are on vessels that, maybe girls that are on a vessel with a bunch of beautiful men, and or that are just not with like-minded people. So I don't know what advice do you give them for them to kind of like being able to set that intention and actually follow through, I guess.
That's a toughie. So I feel like you made a good point where it's easier when you have a crew that is like-minded. For example, the last boat that I was on, we had a really great crew. We got along very well. It was amazing, which you don't always find with yachts, I feel like. Well, I know. And we all were not like-minded in all the ways, but we did have a love for getting better, and we had a love for each other, and we wanted to support each other in our love. So for example, we had people who liked to run. We had people who didn't like to run. We had people who really liked to party. We had people who didn't really like to party. We had people who liked kind of everything at once, or liked to lift weights, or didn't really know what to do lifting weights, who, all of these different things, like to swim. And we all kind of came together and used all the things that we liked and shared it with each other, and kind of created this like force, this posse of like, after work, we're all going to go and we're going to do something fitness related together, or healthy together, whether that's, if we have the option to go do like a mini workout together on the back deck, and if we're not on charter, potentially, if we are able to go on land, or if we had access to a gym or a club, we would go play tennis, and that was really great. And so that made it a lot easier, because like you said, you have your community, you get pumped up by each other, you have this togetherness where, you feel like you're a part of something, and it's super exciting to be able to do that and have fun and keep each other accountable, but also, so then later I can go eat those cookies and go have a little bit of fun, because like you said, it's a balance. It's not, let's go crazy and let's go work out, and I'm gonna do it every single day for 2 hours strong. It doesn't happen that way. It's just like a diet. Like, you can't just drop everything and change your entire life overnight. Like, it's a process. It's a lifestyle change, and I feel like people need to recognize that as well. However, going back to your original question, like you said, what if there's people on the boat that aren't like you? Maybe there's no one on the boat who wants to work out and even cares about working out, and all they want to go do is work and hang out in their cabins alone, or work and go drink or party or go do their thing, or maybe you have nothing really in common with them. So that, I feel like, is something that you have to learn how to dig deep within yourself and kind of reflect on, okay, so I'm in this situation. I really enjoy my job. I really enjoy the people that I work with, but I also don't want to lose sight of who I am or what I want or what I want to do to better myself. And if that is exercise or mental health or healthy eating or whatever that may be, you kind of have to dig deep within yourself and really recognize, okay, well, I want to go have fun with my friends, and they don't really want to work out with me, or they don't really want to take steps to do better with me in these different aspects that I really want. Well, how can I do both? How can I have the support system without them? Whether that's maybe checking in with some good friends that are not in the yachting industry that you left at home because you chose this path. Most people have really good friends that they leave back home, or a really good family support system that they can kind of recheck in with, hey mom, hey such and such, hey dad, hey sister, hey brother, hey best friend, I'm going through this. This is really tough, and I might need your help through this. So it's okay to ask for help. And I feel like so many people kind of leave their past behind. They go into this yachting industry, they go on these amazing adventures, but they might not take with them the support that they might need through this, because it's not easy going through it alone. So I think, like, if you don't necessarily have the people on board with you that are really going to push you, you got to kind of dig within yourself and find that support with the people who really know you and love you back home. And I guarantee you they'll be more than willing to be that extra push and help you stay accountable. So I guess I don't know if that's the best advice, but that's my advice.
Okay. So, yeah, I totally agree with you. But I think also, I think obviously reaching out to whoever you feel called to is important for moral support and all that. Some of us are more, I don't want to say stronger because that's not the word, but more driven than others, and that drive can lead them to, okay, calling a friend, and they're like, okay, I'm going to get on it. And then they do their workout on their own. So I'm thinking, what about the people, and maybe these people that are driven also have some sort of knowledge and understanding of, on the physical health, right, of what they want to do or what they're at least going to try to do. So I'm thinking of the people that that give their excuse of like, well, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm not going to start, and maybe calling a friend and all that is kind of like, yeah, it's great, but it's not really enough to actually get them off their asses and do what they want to do, whether that be working out or that be painting or whatever it is, right? And I just want to focus, I guess, on health, because that's like what I'm being called to focus on, I guess, with you, because that's like your passion. So, I have used apps. I have used personal trainers who are miles away from me in different countries through an app, and they give me the workout. And for me, that's enough to hold myself accountable because they're checking in on me and all that. So I wonder if, as a personal trainer yourself, what are the tools that you think these people can play with?
Right. So I feel like the biggest thing is knowing that there's something out there. And I feel like that's what we're here today for. This is what your Yachts, Mermaids platform is all about. You create this tool for people, especially on yachts, to kind of come to and say, hey, like you're kind of like the one-stop shop. Like, if I have to work out and I want to, or I need some tools to be able to, like, okay, well, I want to, but I don't really know what to do. Like I don't have any weights, or I don't have any equipment, or I've never really worked out before even, like anyone can come here and be like, okay, well, what's the best option for me? And that's kind of what I hope to do is, be that that avenue that people can say, oh, that's right, let me go to Marion's, yacht Mermaids toolbox, and oh, I remember Shelby was there, and Shelby can help out. Shelby's got the tools for me to work out, whether that's if I have a gym and I have weights available, or I have absolutely nothing, or I have my little cabin that's 2 by 2 by 2 feet by 2 feet. Like, I have no room to move. Like, we've all been in there. And there's a million, hundred bajillion excuses that we can make, whether it's, I don't know what to do, or I don't have the space, or I don't have the time, or whatever else you can think of. But if you really want something, you'll make it happen. And I guess my hope today is that, if you find yourself super stuck and you don't know what to do, you now have a tool that you can do that with. And I think you offer like all kinds of other things with health related stuff, like it's not just fitness. So I think that's a really great opportunity for people to come and say, hey, this is what I need. And I feel like, you're that spot for that. And I can help be the avenue for that as well, So like you said, an app, we can do virtual. You don't have to be, if we're in St. Martin, or if we're in the Med, or if we're in Mexico, or wherever the boat might be, like, you don't have to be on the boat to be able to do these things. You don't have to be in the same country. Like, we can be hundreds of millions of miles away, and we can, support each other and be there for each other. Because like you said, it is a community. It's a huge community of people, like-minded people who have different experiences, but similar experiences. So I think the tools are in front of them using what we've got here.
Yeah, totally. Thank you. And if you are tuning in for the first time, yachtsmermaids.com is a platform to help support crew, especially female crew, for have work-life balance. And one of the tools that we have is a support directory where Shelby herself is part of, and you go into the directory, and whatever you need, you're gonna find somebody who can support you in that path, whether that be mental health, whether that be fitness, food, career progress, whatever it is. Like, we pretty much got it covered. So yeah, now before we go, I want to ask you, bringing back the whole positivity thing, right? Because I think that when we take care of ourselves, and when we allow ourselves to let go of control, drop that weight, and that brings that avenue to be more in alignment with who we truly are. And when we're in that place, we're able to share more positivity, right? Or what we perceive as something more light and positive. So my question to you is, what would be your top 3 tips on what to do if you're on a boat and you're feeling really heavy and stuck, and you want to move into a more positive way of being? What will be your top 3 things to do?
Top 3 things. So many good things that you could do. I think a big thing in especially yachting is there is a lot of tension floating around all the time. Some of it's really great, positive tension. Some of it's not so great tension, because there's lots of different people with lots of different backgrounds and attitudes and all of the things. And I think one thing that is really important to be able to do is to recognize that you're feeling heavy, or that you're feeling these angry, negative, or unsettling thoughts or feelings. And everybody knows what that feels like. You kind of get this weight that's not being dropped by you, that's being dropped on you because for whatever reason you're not able to let go. And so I feel like a really good thing to do is to kind of take in and take a step back and be like, okay, this person really just set me off, or this situation just not feel really good, or I'm feeling really heavy right now and really unsettled. So let me take a step back. Let me go kind of in my own space, whether that's to your own cabin or whether that's to the bow of the boat if there's no guests on and they're not around, and you can kind of go get some fresh air, or somewhere where you feel kind of safe and calm, where you can just take a step back, kind of breathe. Breathing is good. And kind of come back to yourself, as opposed to balling it up inside, staying in that environment, like just pushing through it. Because a lot of times, and I've been in a situation where I've balled it up myself and just kind of exploded, and that's never good. And then you regret it later because you're like, oh shoot, I should have just like, took a second to breathe. So I think breathing would be a really good thing to start with, at least. For me, doing what I'm good at helps me feel good, helps me feel in control. So we kind of go back to being in control and wanting to be in control and wanting to hold on to that weight. Sometimes it's okay to be in control, because sometimes that's a way for people to come back within themselves. So, for example, in yachting, I was a deck stew, and I really liked cleaning, as awful as that sounds. I really liked cleaning. I really liked being really OCD and straightening things up, whether that was my cabin, whether that was my roommates in my cabin, whether that was going to the guest area and like straightening up things and like making everything perfect. And that was a way for me to kind of come back in control. And so that made me feel better. And I'm sure there's other people who are out there in the yachting industry, especially stewardesses, who like to clean and like to be OCD and like to do things like that. And that's, I feel like, a way for me, at least, to kind of come back in control, come back and like get a hold of myself, my thought, my feelings, all the things. So that was really good. And then another one, of course, because this is what I'm here for, fitness. So for just 30 seconds in your room, or 30 seconds where you're at, or a minute or a couple minutes, or however long it is, doing something that is not what you're already doing. So getting your heart rate up, like doing some jumping jacks, kind of jogging in place, like maybe doing a push-up, whether that's on the table in front of you, putting your hands on the table and like knocking out a push-up or two, doing a squat, or just moving your body, getting some blood flow. So a lot of times we in the yachting industry, in our jobs, we're on our feet all the time. We don't have a lot of time to like rest and relax and like be chill, and we have to do things cognitively to feel better. So moving our bodies, it's a big thing, is movement, getting that blood flow back to the brain, like out of our feet and our legs and our calves and all the things, and just kind of like bringing it back up to our heart, bringing it back up to our head, bringing it back up so that we can feel like ourselves again. And I think exercise or movement of any sort is really good. So breathing, taking yourself back into control, whether that means to you, and movement is my 3 big pieces of advice for that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So yeah, guys, here you have it. And if you want to know more about Shelby, down on the link, you're going to find everything that you need in order to contact her. And obviously you can go to the Yachts Mermaids support directory and you'll find her there as well. And yeah, I'm super excited for people to be able to share this with you guys, because honestly, she'll kick your ass. And and yeah, it's more than just the body. When you start working out, you realize that it basically helps everything. It helps your mental health. It helps, the way you see things, the way you respond to things instead of reacting. So really moving your body, it's like crucial for your health in every single aspect. So thank you, Shelby, for taking the time to be here with us. And yeah, anything else you want to add to?
No, I'm good. I think that's awesome. It was a great being here today. Thank you, Marianne, for having me here. It's been awesome. And I think what you've got is a super exciting and positive weight dropping situation for people. It's a great opportunity. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, guys, this is it. It's a wrap. So I'm Mariam from Yachts Mermaids, and this is Uncensored, a Yachting International radio show. See you next time.